Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Linguasphere. In this video, you will see the explanation of the chapter Gulliver's Travels. This I have taken from Marigold NCERT textbook in English for class 5. The story is about Lemuel Gulliver, an adventurous Englishman who travels to a series of strange and distant lands, each inhabited by unusual beings that reflect different aspects of human nature and society. About the author, Jonathan Swift was born on 30th November 1667 and died on 19 October 1745. He was an Anglo-Irish writer, essayist, satirist, and Anglican cleric. The story is an autobiography. When a person tells a story of his life in his own words, it is called an autobiography. Gulliver, a sailor, was once caught in the land of giants. This is how he describes his experience. Now let's read and understand the chapter Gulliver's Travels. On the 16th of June 1730, we discovered land. Our captain sent a dozen men with vessels for water, if any could be found. When we came to land, we saw no river or spring nor any inhabitants. So here the meaning of dozen means a group of 12. Vessels means a big boat or a ship. Inhabitants means people of that island, those who live on that place. So here the people, those who were in the crew, all the members, they discovered a land, and their captain, he sent them to search water. When they went to that island, it was barren. He went on to explore. He went on to learn about that island. Explore means to know more about that island, because he was a curious traveler. The country was barren and rocky. Barren means when the soil is not good enough to grow crops, and rocky, full of rocks, uneven land. So he turned back to join the crew, only to see them getting into the boat and rowing for life to get to the ship. Before he could reach them, he observed a huge creature walking after them in the sea as fast as he could. The water of the ocean reached only till his knees. So you can imagine the huge creature. However, the monster was unable to overtake the speeding boat. He turned back quickly and climbed up a steep hill with fields of barley on either side and corn rising up to 40 feet. There was a fence to pass from one field to the other. Fence means a row of trees. It was impossible for him to climb because every step was 6 feet high. He was trying to find a gap in the hedge when he discovered one of the inhabitants in the next field walking towards the fence. He was of the same size as the creature chasing the boat. So he was struck with utmost fear and astonishment and ran to hide himself. He called in a voice much louder than a trumpet. It sounded like thunder. 7 monsters like him came towards a field ready to reap the corn. Reap means to cut the corn. They carried a reaping hook which was very big. When one of the reapers approached where he lay hidden, he screamed as loud as he could. The creature stopped reaping, picked him up between his thumb and forefinger, and brought him close to his eyes, 60 feet above the ground. So he was so curious to see such a tiny creature. He looked at him with curiosity and blew his hair aside to get a better view of his face. He called his friends and gently placed him on the ground. They all sat on the ground to take a good look of him. He walked slowly backward and forward, pulled off his hat and made a low bow towards the farmers. So he was scared. He tried to speak to them loudly in several languages. Each time he did so, the farmer who picked him up and held his ear very close to him, but in vain. They were not able to hear him. The farmer took him to his house and placed him at some distance on the dining table, which was 30 feet high from the floor. Dinner was brought for the farmer in a dish which was 10 feet in diameter. The farmer's wife crumbled some bread and placed it before him. In the middle of the dinner, he heard a noise behind him. It was a purring of a cat that was 10 times larger than an ox. The farmer's wife was stroking him. Then entered the farmer's 1-year-old son in the arms of a lady. On seeing him, the child grabbed him from the table and and he tried to put him into his mouth. He shouted so loudly. Here Gulliver shouted so loudly that the baby dropped him. He would have broken his neck if the mother had not held her apron under him. Later she put him on her own bed and covered him with a clean white handkerchief. He slept dreaming of his home, wife, and children. And that is the end of the story. Now let's see the vocabulary. The first word is bellowing, very loud noise. Inhabitants, occupants, barren land with no vegetation. Astonishment, greatly surprised. Crumbled, broken into pieces. Grab, pick suddenly. Choose the correct answer. The giant carrot reaping hook because. Here we have the options. And find out the correct answer. They put Gulliver on the ground to look at him because they had never seen a human before. They thought he was a doll. They had never seen such a tiny man. Gulliver was a farmer, a sailor, a dwarf, a giant.